Hi, it's Michelle Maher here, and I am here today with Lori Appleby. Lori, thank you so much for giving me your time and being here with us today to discuss how we're feeling as we go through this pandemic.
Thanks, Michelle. I'm really happy to be
You're
here.
welcome.
And, I think it's great what you're doing. I think it's really important that we all collaborate and um, give back and support each other. So I really appreciate you creating the group and doing these interviews. I think it's going to be really helpful for people, and that's really what's most important is for us to stay connected.
Right. Yeah. That's how we're going to get through this is as a community, as a global community, really. Lori, if you want to just give an introduction as to who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. So my name is Lori Appleby. I'm a radical living master coach, which is a spiritual and life coach. And I was trained through the radical living tools and processes, which are very simple to use, step-by-step processes that honor our humanness and allow us to work through our feelings and then support us to shift into an empowering um, way of perceiving whatever it is that we're going through so that we can feel that we are everything that's happening to us is happening for a bigger reason that we're just not always able to fully understand in the moment. And that's really something that's going on right now, is that nobody really understands what's going to happen or why it happened.
Right.
It's this type of work has completely changed my life, and it helped me to heal my past and to really empowered me to step out and share who I really was, because that's not what I was doing. Um, before that, I was really hiding, and I was people pleasing, and I didn't, I really was not in my power. So that is what I would say, that the work that I do is to really help individuals empower themselves, that they have all their answers, and to be able to connect with that part of themselves, that inner guidance system.
Right. Yeah. Yes, that's true. And as I was having an interview earlier today, um, it came up the same idea, the same concept that really what we need to realize is the control, the power that we have within. And we have to take, I guess, grasp fully that we do have that power and to go forward with it. And that's what this is giving us the chance to do, so that we can understand that while the some of the things are not in our control, like this virus, this pandemic coming, we can still control our own thoughts, feelings, and our reactions and how we perceive everything, so
Absolutely.
that going forward we are in a much better place. And it also gives us the chance to sit back and be and reflect on who we are and who we want to be,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with that. And our power is in our choice, always. And that is a beautiful thing about being a human, is that we always have choice. We always have free will, whether we believe it or not. So in this situation, we may not have choice that we had to cancel our events or our vacation or a conference or something like that. But we do have a choice in what we're going to do with our time and how we're going to respond to things, on how much we're going to listen to maybe things that are given to us in a way that isn't serving us, like in a negative way, and choose where we're going to receive our information from. And also, like you said, like having time to reflect and process things, because this is bringing up a lot for a lot of people. And I personally see, whenever I see something like this happen, and I wouldn't say like this is on a bigger scale. But when I see it with clients and I'm working with, it's happening on a smaller, more individual scale. And when I see this, I always see the gift in it, that I see that it's an opportunity for us to heal. And that the earth is where she is in a healing crisis right now. And so is humanity. And these types of things have to happen in order for us to really take a closer look. Because otherwise, remember, before this happened, we were always too busy, oh yeah, I'll get to it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And And I'm guilty of it too. And it's not guilty in a bad way. It's just the way we were conditioned, and the way we're being. So I see this as giving us time and space to reflect, to take care of ourselves, to maybe there's parts of how we were living that weren't healthy. It might be just in the thoughts that we have. It might be in how we take care of our body, or maybe in the food that we eat, or not taking the time to be still with all the information that we're receiving all the time with our phones and our computers and always plugged
Right.
in. Um,
Yeah.
we're out of balance. So having that balance to have that quiet time where we're not we're not connected to anything other than ourselves. I really truly feel that's a huge lesson for all of us, to take that,
Right.
to balance it out, to have the stillness. It doesn't have to be sitting down, going home and meditating. It could be going for a walk. Some people just, that doesn't work for them. Going for a walk outside, just without anything in your ears, just noticing, being present in the moment,
Right.
what's around you, noticing what you hear, noticing what you see, appreciating all the little things. These are really important things. It doesn't seem like it is, but it actually really truly is, because being in the present moment is where our power is. It's not in the past, it's not in the future, it's right now. So being present,
Right.
doing, if it's not a meditation that, like I said, by yourself, then go out and go for a walk. We're still allowed to do that. We can still go outside and walk around, find a
Yes.
park, find a path, and get out there and be with ourselves, be with our thoughts, breathe, breathe, breathe. I think that's another big thing. This whole virus is about,
That's what it is. Yes.
and that is our life force, is breathing. So practicing being in the moment and just breathing. And if you don't know how to do that, just breathe. Just don't take a shallow breath, take a nice deep breath.
Yeah, that's really important actually, because also this is a respiratory virus, and anything you can do to strengthen your immune system and to strengthen the function of your lungs. And we don't breathe, right? Unless you're in the practice of doing so. The general population is going a mile a minute. Before this happened, going a mile a minute, rushing off from place to place and here to here, and things to get done and commitments and so on.
Right? Looking at our phones.
Yes. And
Not
no, there's never breathing.
right.
Like you
So,
breathe, enough that you can carry on, but
so what I do is I practice, right? I'll just like put my shoulders back and like just open my chest. And your heart's right there too, right? So and let a sigh out. And it's funny how when I do that, sometimes, because I just feel the urge to do it, people around me are
yes,
like, oh, I'm like, nothing. I'm just breathing. It for me, it shifts my energy. It helps me to like land or be present, more grounded when I do that.
yes,
And it's interesting how people around me sometimes think there's something wrong. And it's like, wow. So there's something, like, we're conditioned to think there's something wrong when we take a big breath and sigh.
yes.
And truly, that is like such a healthy thing to do. So I found it interesting that that's the reaction I get sometimes when I do that.
Right. Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. Everybody is just been conditioned to just go, and your attention is going a million different directions now. With the internet, with the phones and everything, we're connected all the time, and there's so much information there, and there's so much requiring your attention. And now it's all, well, I mean, the internet hasn't stopped or anything, but we've been forced to slow down, stop, and be. And like you say, if you go out for a walk in nature, you'll actually you'll notice the birds. You'll notice the smell of spring. You'll notice the squirrels running or whatever.
Yeah, just
Um, yeah, which you never necessarily noticed before because
so
you're always too busy.
So true. We're always like looking at our phone or thinking about what we got to do or what we didn't do, or it's just way too busy. We can't really sustain that. And I feel like this is just a big reset for everyone. So
Yes,
if you get like
sorry.
that,
And
that's okay.
it's funny that you said about the off balance, because I did hear in another call, it was a group Zoom that we had. Somebody mentioned that. She said that she feels like the world was so off balance that it turned up the volume on us, basically, and said, listen, and caused us to just stop, sit still, and be.
Yeah. Yeah. Wake up, start questioning. I
And
think
start looking at what you're doing.
yeah, questioning, is this working for me, what I'm doing, how I'm being all the time? Am I even being, or am I just doing? We're not human
Right.
doing. You've heard that one before, right? We're human beings. So are we just do? We have been conditioned to do, go all the time. Working all the time, always being on. And that's not conducive to being healthy. It really isn't, to
No.
always be going. We actually require a whole lot more rest and reflection and just integrating things. Like you say, all this information is coming at us. When do we actually have time to process it? If you don't sit and give yourself some time to look, think, absorb what the article you read or the interview you watched or whatever, what it was, and what does this mean to me? Just being more introspective, asking yourself questions, what did this evoke in me? My feelings came up around this. I wonder what that was. But we don't. The feelings come up, we just push it back down and keep going. And
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Or else we say, yeah, or else we have a, multi-page long to-do list saying, I'll get to that later, I'll get to that later, and I know that's me.
Absolutely.
I'm good at doing that. And this is a time for you to sit back and think about what you were doing, how you're living your life, and who you want to be at the end of this when we come out the other side. And if there's things that you didn't want to do, I'm sorry, that you've been putting off because you said, I don't have time, which is not, like, there's no such thing as don't have time. It's what you choose to spend your time doing. This is the time for you to get out that list and start seeing what you can be working on, that, whatever interests you. Go back to your childhood too, when you had an imagination, because we don't have imaginations anymore.
It's a really good point that you're bringing that up, because I also, for myself, and a big part of what I do advocate for people is that we need more playtime. We need more fun time. Like just being serious and working and being a mom or a dad or whatever you are, your labels. Um, what about just having that imagination and that carefree spirit? Like that is going to support us to balance out this heaviness. So doing things that bring you joy. And if you don't know what brings you joy, then there you go. There's a perfect thing to explore while you have this time, is to, what lights me up? If I could be doing whatever I wanted to be doing, what would it be? Okay, if it's like being on a beach somewhere, then you might have to recreate that for yourself right now. But there are ways, creative ways for us to bring joy into our life. It doesn't have to cost anything. It could be listening to music that really, lifts your spirits and dancing around your room. It could be pulling out your paints and painting something intuitively. It could be anything really, whatever it is that lights you up. If it's gardening, go get some stuff and start planting things inside right now. That's what we were talking about. We're going to go plant some seeds now, so that in a couple months we're going to be able to plant them in the ground, and we'll be able to grow our own food, because not all of it, but some of it. We did that
No.
last. I want to do that again. It's really nice to be able to eat the food that you grew, so just whatever it is for the individual. Take some time and decide, what would I like to do that is going to give me a focused attention, that's going to put my energy into doing this and it's going to bring me joy. It's going to make me happy. And
Right.
always like, it's just always responsibilities. And yes, of course we have responsibilities, but we're, we have to play sometimes too and do things in light and fun. It's so important. And we don't, and I know how important it is because I missed a big part of my childhood because I didn't allow myself to do that because I was just so shy and so, just with what happened and I didn't feel safe to do that. And now I am like a 50-year-old woman exploring the things I didn't feel safe in doing when I was a child, you know, art, dancing, singing, creating music, just things that really make me feel good. And I tell you, you go through your day, especially right now, and being able to do that just balances it all out for me. I feel so much better. I think if I didn't have that, I would probably be feeling depressed.
Hmm. Right. That's a good point. And with the technology we have now with the internet, you can do all of that. Um, you can do, yeah, there's all kinds. And right now, everybody's coming out with giving away free stuff and free webinars and whatever, and helping people. Anybody who needs just even somebody to talk to, people are offering that. Uh, yeah, and some of the musicians are doing concerts from their homes as sharing their gifts with the world, but for free. And
Yeah,
we can appreciate that with the internet.
great. It's great. I think it's showing us that create with whatever it is you have. Make what do they say? Make lemonade out of lemons.
Yes.
So that's what we're doing. We're inside and we're isolating. And I don't like this. I don't like the social distancing. I prefer to, someone called it healthy proximity. I'm like, oh, I like that much better. I'm
Yes,
gonna practice healthy proximity. It just to me sounds much more positive.
it does. Distancing is it
So
has a negative spin on it. And social distancing is not even right because I know for myself since this started, I've been on Zoom almost constantly and talking to more people than I would have before, at least from my home.
yeah, it's interesting
Um,
those that new phrase. It does have a negative connotation, in my opinion, and
yes,
I feel that it's important if something doesn't sit with us, that it feels heavy, find a way to shift your perspective on it. So when I saw somebody change social distancing to healthy proximity, I'm like, proximity, I was like, I'm not going to say social distancing anymore because I don't like how that feels. Now, someone else, it might not bother them at all. But to me, it feels like I am distancing myself from connecting with others. And
mm-hmm.
I know that is not healthy for me. So I truly know it's not healthy for anybody because we're supposed to be connected with other people. Yes, we need to,
Right. We're social beings.
right, but we are supposed to connect. So I just didn't like it. So whatever, it really comes down to doing what works for you and not feeling like if what I said doesn't work for you, that's great. Like I'm not right. I'm saying what's right for me, what feels good for me. And I feel that everybody needs to tune in and discern what is right for them. It's instead of saying right and wrong, it's not about right and wrong. It's about discernment that this feels good to me and whatever feels good to you, like that's cool. It just, if it doesn't feel good to me, why do I have to do it? So I'm not saying, I don't mean if it,
Right.
I should go out and talk, see people. I don't mean, of course we need to practice this healthy
Yes.
if I could say
You
healthy,
have to practice it a few times. Right.
healthy proximity. Um, I know we have to do that right now to contain everything. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying if the words don't feel good, shift it. If the way someone says something, find a more positive way of looking at it for yourself that is going to resonate. So we are We have a lot more power than we believe we do, and choosing how we think and how we speak is fully in our power.
Right. And the thing is, it's all contagious, really. Like when this whole thing started and the fear came online on Facebook and all the pictures, then one person posts a picture of the grocery store line, and then somebody else does, and then somebody's posting about toilet paper and empty shelves and so on. Then it just snowballs because everybody just, it all is contagious. So just imagine if we don't do that, and rather we are talking about the ways that we can find opportunity in what's happening now, and reconnecting to stuff that you enjoyed as a child
Yeah.
or always wanted to do. Catch up on your reading too. If you're like me, where I've got a stack of books that I always say I'm going to get to, well, then take some time for yourself and read.
Yeah, it is about shifting our perspective. Everything is about that. So that's what I now I do it automatically, but it did take me practice to get there. So if it's for anyone's watching, if it's not something that you're used to doing, just practice looking at it from a different point of view. So something negative. So when I see, I'll give you an example, the toilet paper thing. So when I first thought, oh my gosh, but I tell you, now when I go to use toilet paper, I look at it from a completely different. I appreciate it. I am so grateful for toilet paper. And I never even had 2 second thought about it. I just used it. But now I'm
Yeah,
like, maybe I don't need as much. Or
it's so funny.
to see I have like 8 rolls sitting there, just the little
Yeah,
kindness. This is It's teaching us to be grateful for everything in our life. There's always something to be grateful
and
for.
be
Always.
more appreciative. Yeah, to appreciate the little things, like you say. Like, who would have appreciated toilet paper before this?
I know. Yeah, not in first world countries, but the third world
Oh,
countries.
yes.
But
Sorry. Yeah, of course.
we had, yeah, no, I know what you're saying, but I
But
mean,
for us, it was always on the shelf. No problem.
have it, you go buy more.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I'm much more appreciative for a lot of things. Like my family got together last night and we had dinner and we played giant Jenga and we did stuff together. And I was just thinking, wow, would we have been doing this if this wasn't going on? Maybe not. We probably would have all been doing our own thing. So it's bringing people together as well in a different way.
Right. It is. It is. Like with the kids being home from school,
Yeah.
too. And it also is presenting a lot of difficulties and challenges for the people that are working from home, plus have the children around. Um,
True. I would
and
actually, because everything we're saying we have more time, but there are some people that don't have more time because they've
right.
actually felt the crunch because they still have to work and now they
Yes.
have at home, or maybe they have a parent or somebody that like they're in that sandwich generation that they need to take care of their needs and they're being pulled from all those directions. So the
True. Yeah.
dad doesn't, appreciating all the time, they might not be able to, that might not apply to them. However, it still goes in saying that we have that is our power and how we choose to respond to everything. So maybe there's other lessons, not maybe, there are other lessons in learning and growth for those people. It could be, now it's for that person to uncover. However, I could see myself that it's helping them to let some things go that maybe weren't really important so that they can make time for what's most important. That could be one of the lessons for them. I I'm not
Right.
I'm not in that position, so I can't speak to that. And I raised my kids, like my kids are in their late 20s, mid 20s, so it's been a long time. But my heart does go out to them, and I think it's maybe it's about being together with family and teaching your children to have more quiet time and to have it yourself, and to instill different ways of being at home. You know, maybe they're all disconnected, and maybe it's about coming together as a family. Like, it's going to be individual,
Yeah.
but I feel that for each individual person, there's always going to be something in whatever it is you're faced with, no matter what. There's always a bigger plan going on behind the scenes, and it's very important to acknowledge our feelings, whatever the feelings are coming up, the quote unquote negative ones.
Right.
Um,
Right. Yeah. Acknowledge them, not just push them away.
Right. Yeah. You don't want it. It's not helpful to avoid them or ignore them or resist them. You know, but to express them in a healthy way um, is really very important, because if you don't, it's just going to build, and then you'll end up blowing up and exploding on somebody, and then you'll feel bad about, and then, you know, it's a bit of a cycle. So um, I would journaling, you know, how is a great way, or going for a run and exerting that energy. You know, if you are able to tap into these people, tapping into some of these free resources that people are offering, that's really helpful too, because maybe, you know, you don't have time to do you know, a course or anything, but maybe you have time to sit down for an hour and work through some feelings. And that is really helpful, because it's going to help keep you going. And, you know, the people around us were, especially women, you know, not saying not for men, but especially women, like, we are kind of the leaders in our family and in our communities. And I think it's important for us to really, how are we modeling, right? And maybe it's just that we need to just totally unplug from everything and rest, you know? And usually if we're not listening to that, we'll get taken out by, not, you know, a cold or
Right.
right. And then if anyone does actually contract it, you know, I think really important to not go into fear about it, because the statistics, the way they tell them sometimes are kind of fear-based, but it's really not deadly to someone if you have a healthy immune system. So if we have a healthy,
Right.
you just need to treat it like any other flu and isolate, of course, but take care of ourselves. You know, when we're running on empty all the time, that does lower your immune system. So that's another thing, is that back to the balance, right? However you can make it happen. Um,
Yeah.
little time, little 10-minute mini breaks, you know, do what you can do. I think setting that intention and doing it is better than just saying I don't have time and then not doing anything.
Right. Oh, definitely, for sure. That that's the key.
Well, it's a start, it's something, and it's gonna
Hmm.
help you to move on, and because this is something that nobody really knows what's happening and what's going to happen. We only know what we're being told. And
Right.
and I don't know if they really know what's going on either. So
No.
it's
It's new to
education.
everybody, really.
However, I truly do believe we're always being, like I said, being guided towards what we need to experience. So for some reason, we need to experience this, and we found a lot of reasons in this conversation of why this is happening. You know, it's reminding us of all these beautiful things that to do. So just knowing that as humanity, we're being brought into this, and it's so we can correct, fix, maybe, I don't know if fix is the right word, but reset to
Reset, yeah. And go back to the basics. Like you say, appreciating the little things. And you're thinking more now of what is necessary, like even from with respect to going to the grocery store. You only want to do that when you need to get some stuff. You're not going to be running out like before, when you might stop on the way home to grab one thing or grab one thing there and go different stores. Now it's like you just want to do it once. because you're going out and you have to be safe and that kind of thing. So thinking about what do I really, really need versus what do I like?
True. Yeah. So being better, better use of our time, better use of our resources. Like we cooked a chicken yesterday, and now my husband's making chicken soup
Yeah.
with. So lots of people do that, but we didn't always do that. We would just throw the carcass out and go on to the next meal. So
Right.
now we're like, okay, how can we take this and make it into another meal, that's going to be healthy for us? And so like I know lots of people know that already. I'm not saying it's just an example
Yeah.
of us personally. We personally didn't always do that, but now we're like, you know, we don't have to just throw this out. We can, reuse,
Use it.
be more resourceful. And I think it's also important that if you don't feel that you have any quote unquote gifts to share with other people, you're a person with a heart, and you can help someone in the community, help, have a phone call with someone, check in on people, just
Yeah. Yeah.
do.
Right. All the people that are
They're
alone in this.
yeah, exactly. And they need someone to care, right? And
Yeah, just to talk to, really. That's all.
and one person can't change the world, but collectively all of us doing our part is what's going to change things for the better. So
Right.
don't feel that you got to change the world. Do your part. So me personally, I'm offering online support, helping people with, because that's the work I do, with their feelings, and in shifting into being empowered, and self-care and self-love and all that. But someone else, their gifts might be that they have a car and they can go pick up some stuff for somebody who doesn't able to get out and maybe has a compromised immune system, and bring it to them. Or maybe they can knit something, and I don't know, like, just do whatever you feel called to do, but just know that you can, what they're doing and what I'm doing, what you're doing, it's all just as valuable. We need
Yeah, collectively.
right? Yeah. Because I think a lot of times what does come up when I see is people they feel hopeless, like, "Well, there's nothing I can do, like this, that's it, we're screwed." The world's going to pot, like, we're done. And it's like, no, actually there is, what you can do is focus on really making sure you're connecting to your power, to your internal guidance, and then also helping others in whatever way it is that you can help. And if that's
Right.
just going on social media and messaging people and saying, "Hey, how are you?" That's great. There's something that's,
Yeah, for
you
sure.
have the ability, you had this beautiful idea of doing interviews and creating this group, and that's amazing. And I just, felt called in my own way, and everyone's going to feel called in their way, but everyone's little help is creating a huge, beautiful movement of kindness. And like, just, that's what humanity is. We aren't, self-preserving people. Like, that was just a knee-jerk reaction that everyone had. People always, the
Yeah,
best always show up in the times of crisis. It's
right.
so amazing.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Mhm.
true. Because that fear, panic buying, all that stuff that happened seems to have shifted a lot since.
Yeah, that's just a knee.
Uh,
It's,
that was just the loss of control happening, and everyone's like, oh my God, what is going on? And you go right into the fear flight
I feel like
response.
it's also we've been somewhat, like, it feels more real to people that this, like, a apocalypse or whatever, because there's a lot, we've been watching a lot of things over the years, the video games, the movies, the series. Like, I'm not saying they're wrong or anything, I'm just saying that we've been conditioned that this stuff can happen, so people knew exactly what to do. Well, I need to go and
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I watched The Walking Dead,
so that's probably a
and
big,
right after it's on Sunday night, so right after the Thursday when everything happened, it felt quite different to watch it.
right.
and you know, seeing them, because I remember them always breaking into the grocery stores or whatever and seeing, or people's homes, and finding whatever leftover food was there. And
Yeah, yeah, right. But there's
yeah.
no there's zombies. You're good.
I know, and the groceries are still coming. The supply chain is still, the trucks are still coming over. Like nothing's happened there. Even the toilet paper, the companies have said, and they're made locally too. There's one plant at the here in South Etobicoke, like just south of me, and there's something else like going over to North York. There's a big toilet paper place too. So it's not like there's none.
This is just showing showing humanity of our the consciousness of feeling lack and scarcity, that there's not enough,
Right.
right? Not enough to go around. There's not enough for me. There's not enough, I got to take what I can to be okay and survive. And I don't know, like, I don't get the toilet paper thing, but there was some
No. And
necessity.
we
And
have to get away from that, right? That's what we need to get
so, but
totally.
I think it's a really great learning to show that there is a lot of lack and scarcity out there. And truly, 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 if you live in that, if you believe that, then that's going to be your reality. If you
Right.
trust you're always taken care of, yes, of course, you want to be smart and get what you need and stock up a little bit, but you don't need to clear the shelf. You want to leave some for someone else. We always want to think of, in any decision you make, you want to ask yourself, is this just serving me, or is this am I considering other people as well? I feel like in
Right.
times it's important to consider how this may affect others. And I think that's also what's coming up is, do we like, maybe we need to not be so wasteful. That's a pretty big one, right? There's a lot of waste, just a lot of, and we're all in it. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not saying this with judgment. I'm saying
Yeah.
observation, right? When we're looking at all these things that are coming up, it's about observing it and noticing it and going, yeah, I've felt a lot of lack and scarcity, and this is just showing me there's lack and scarcity. And so I'm not mad at those people. I don't like feel angry. I had my
No.
moment. I did. I thought, like, they're so selfish and dumb and whatever. I had all my thoughts, and I'm allowed to think it, just like you. That's normal to think those thoughts.
Yeah.
But then I pass it and I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, that's the consciousness where they're at, and they truly felt scared that they had to go and do that. And then there's other people that went out and took advantage of the situation and cleared it out so they could resell and profit from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we judge those people too, but we're all connected. This is within all of us. It doesn't mean we are that, but this is showing that this is the consciousness of a lot of people out there.
Right.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so it whatever happens to you happens to me. Whatever happens to me happens to you, right? We are all connected. So this is showing us how we're all connected and what is coming up that needs to have a shift, right? It's not going to sustain if we're just looking out for number one.
No. Right.
Looking out for everyone. So I saw toilet paper. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to get a couple of packs and I'm going to leave it. They were just little 4-packers. And I was like, I had a moment that I wanted to, oh, we got a guest. Hey, wait. I had a moment where I wanted to buy it, but I was like, no, I'm not, because I want to leave it for other people.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to notice all these things that are showing up. And
right. Yeah, for sure. That's true. Yeah. All right.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much, Laurie, for coming on here with me and sharing your thoughts, your perspective, and tips. And I will make sure to put the your information below this when I post in the group, and along with your free resource.
Yeah.
And yeah, you make a good point. Like we have to realize that we don't operate in a silo. It's what we do affects everybody else, and we have to come together as a collective, global, conscious community to get through this.
Absolutely.
And that's what it seems to be what is being done. you can see that that is what's happening. We're just
Absolutely.
going to have to go through some of this, but again, we will get through it, and we'll come out the other side, and we'll be a better
Totally.
global community going forward. Yeah, I believe so as well.
Great.
All right. Thank you so much, Lori. And everybody, I will say bye for now and see you next time. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks.